The following is a presentation of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. Ladies and gentlemen, Sleeman Breweries proudly presents the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. This is episode number 4. I am your host, Andrew Rogers. It is great to be back with you guys once again. Thank you for your continued viewership, and we really appreciate you tuning in. Got a jam-packed episode today. It's a triple threat, triple protection. It's a great episode coming up here. On the program today, from the Tilbury Bluebirds, Dylan Denomme, from the Alvinston Killer Bees, Sam MacGee, and from the Tillsonburg Thunder, Jamie MacQueen. It's going to be great. We're going to get to the interviews in a minute with them. Just a quick couple things from me here. We also have a great highlight pack of all the 3 of the 4 games this past weekend. And we'll touch on a little bit of those, give you kind of a couple of snippets from that, get you updated on the standings, look at the upcoming schedule. First of all, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully it was safe. Hopefully everybody was good and enjoyed family time and all that sort of stuff. And hopefully by now are well recovered from the turkey coma that probably was for a lot of you individuals out there. You know who I'm talking about. No, but honestly, just hopefully it was safe. Hopefully everybody enjoyed themselves, and hopefully it was a good Thanksgiving for all in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. We press on. Week number 2 was a blast, and we're going to get to that in a minute. First thing is first, guys, I want to address something really quick here. It was brought to my attention after the Stratford-Delhi game when I got home that evening that in the midst of my broadcasting re-debut, if you will, or return to the broadcasting booth alongside Brian Hawley for the game, there was a subject matter that came up involving in accordance to the Elora Rocks and Alvinston Killer Bees game from Friday night in Elora that was won by the Rocks 5-2. Something that I said during the broadcast was not intent on being the way it was perceived, and that was that Elora potentially didn't play their best hockey or play poorly, thus resulting maybe more so than not in the score being what it was. So I just want to address this because first of all, just so we could clear the air on this, having not watched the game prior to making those comments, the comments shouldn't have been made by me, and I take full responsibility for that. In the context of the conversation, what should have been said was, I haven't watched the game yet, I can't comment on the game, but I did see the score, I did see Elora win, etc., etc. However, in the midst of everything that was going on, there's no excuse for what I said, but I said what I said, and I can't unsay it at this point, but I do apologize to the Alvinston Killer Bees for that comment, and through association with the Western Ontario Super Hockey League and the Elora Rocks as well. My apologies there. I did happen to go back and watch the game. It was a very, very tight game between both teams. A couple either way, and it was an excellent game to rewatch once I did get to that point to rewatch it. All 4 games, excellent games. High scoring game in the Strathroy Tillsonburg game, Tillsonburg coming out on top 8-7. Like I say, Elora 5-2 winners over Alvinston. Stratford, big win for them over Delhi in their season opening game, 16-3. And then for the Tilbury Bluebirds, 2-0 on the year now, they defeated Tillsonburg in Tillsonburg's barn, 5-3. That was an unbelievable hockey game as well. We have highlights from 3 of the 4 games. The only one we don't have is Strathroy Tillsonburg, and that's because the Sporfy file for the game was too long, and I couldn't download it and couldn't make a highlight pack from that. Just of note as well, shout out to 509 Sports Online. They were there in Stratford for the Irish and the Delhi Flames game, and they put a highlight pack together, and we're going to feature that on our highlight pack coming up here soon. So, guys, like I mentioned, let's take a look here at the scoreboard from the weekend that was. Like I say, Thunder defeating the Strathroy Jets 8-7. Elora over Alvin 5-2. Stratford Fighting Irish over the Delhi Flames 16-3. And Tilbury winning 5-3. Actually, you know what? Let's just jump into the highlights so we can get into the rest of this after, and then we could get to our interviews. So here, enjoy, sit back and relax and enjoy the highlights from this past weekend in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League.
It's the Alvinston Killer Bees making their season debut on the road against the defending champion, Elora Rocks. Pick this one up 3.5 minutes into the first, and Elora strikes first. Brett McInale is going to score one of the nicest goals you'll see all year. Great individual effort, great finish past a sprawling Nolan Deckening, and it's 1-0 Elora. 20 seconds later, it's Alex Utley grabbing the puck. He feeds Blaze Bridges, who taps it back to Utley. He makes no mistake on the wide open net. Fancy passing makes it 2-0 Elora. Elora looking for more, 3-on-1 from the Elora blue line. Joey Heath is going to keep this puck all the way. His shot denied by Deckening. That's a big save. It remains 2-0. Ensuing Bees possession, Alvinston captain Scott Case with the big stretch pass to Cameron Rombouts. He's going to beat Anthony Marshall high blocker side with a beauty. That cuts the Elora lead in half. It's 2-1. Still in the first, Alvinston with the 5-on-3 advantage. They control the puck in the Elora zone. This shot by Kane Johnson is deflected nicely in the slot by Josh Jameson. By a helpless Anthony Marshall, we are tied at 2 after 1 period of play. Second period, now Elora looking for the go-ahead goal. Puck is going to take a bounce off the end boards, and it's Nolan Deckening with his best save of the game, grabbing the puck what looks to be off the goal line to keep us even at 2s. Still in the second period, this time it's Anthony Marshall of Elora getting in on the goaltending fun. He is in perfect position to make the acrobatic save off this redirect in front. We remain tied at 2. Skip now to the third period, just past the midway point. Elora sends the puck ahead. It finds the stick of Ty Campbell. Initial shot is blocked, but he sticks with it to beat Deckening. It's 3-2 Elora in front. 3 minutes later, Alex Utley will bring the puck up the ice for Elora. He gets it ahead to Joey Heath. Heath returns it to Utley, and his shot gets past Deckening. Wishes he had that one back. It's a 2-goal lead now for the Rocks. Just over 5 minutes to play, things get a little heated. Deckening is going to make the save. After the whistle, a scrum ensues between Elora's Yanni Skropoulos and Alvinston's Alex Cunningham. Dying seconds of the game now, Elora ices it. Zach Cameron putting it into the empty net. As the Elora Rocks improve to 2-0, they fend off a difficult challenge from the much improved Alvinston Killer Bees. Final score, 5-2, Elora.
It's our game of the week in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. Here come the Stratford Fighting Irish for their home opener on Saturday. They were facing the Delhi Flames at the Allman. Opening period, it's a good start for the visitors. Brady Van Weimern with the puck. He sends it through for Nick Brandehorst, and he opens the scoring. The Flames striking first. It's 1-0, and they bury another one 2 minutes later. Nick Brandehorst coming in, and he rips it top shelf. Delhi comes out firing. They jump out to a 2-0 lead. Back come the Irish, and it's a beauty solo effort from Sean O'Brien. He skates in and gets Stratford on the board. O'Brien makes it a 1-goal game. A little later, the puck is loose in front. Cooper Leach grabs it, and he puts it in. Just like that, we've got a tie game. It's 2-2, and the Irish get another one before the period is over. Riley Coombe with a rocket from the point. Stratford is their first lead. It's 3-2 after 1. Second period, Cooper Cooper Leach buries it from the face-off. That's his second marker of the day. The Irish with a 3-goal advantage. They are up 5-2, and they keep coming. Watch number 19. That's Brodie Smith with a nice feed to Cooper Leach. He's got a hat trick. Stratford starting to pull away. It's 6-2. Back come the Flames. And how about this shot from Chris Donnelly? He wires it upstairs. Delhi closing the gap. It's 6-3. But from there it was all Stratford. Brodie Smith in the middle puts it home. He gives the Irish a 7-3 lead. Then it's Brad Crisco with the puck. He comes in and he's got a goal. Crisco and the Irish now leading 8-3, and they were far from done. Mitch Casey is at the far point, and the Irish reaching double digits. Casey giving his team a 10-3 lead. Moments later, Brodie Smith is wide open in front, and he's got another one. Stratford scoring 9 goals in the middle period. They blow the game open, and it's more of the same in the third. Ray Robbins is on the far side, and he puts it in. Robbins makes it 14-3, and the Irish start their home schedule with a victory. Here's a tilt between Joel Knight from the Flames and Warren Gorman from the Irish. When it was over, Stratford picks up the victory. They win it by a final score of 16-3 over the Flames.
It's a pair of 1-0 teams facing off as the Tilbury Bluebirds travel to Tillsonburg to take on the Thunder. Pick things up in the first period, puck in the Tilbury zone. It's going to find its way to number 61, Eric Winter. He's in all alone on Thunder goalie Matt Segrat, who makes the save to keep the game scoreless. Still in the frame, Tillsonburg with the 2-on-1. This time number 8, Derek Slott of the Thunder, keeping on the 2-on-1. His shot denied by Bluebird netminder Ryan Polidori. Still scoreless. Tillsonburg is on the scoreboard here first. It's Andrew Tapsell beating Polidori. From long range, it's 1-0 Thunder. Later on in the period, Bluebird captain Dylan Denomme comes in on Segrat. His shot is denied. After the whistle, extracurriculars between Aiden Wiebenga and Matt Weston has the game heating up. Second period, still 1-0 Tillsonburg. Puck is cleared out of the Thunder zone, evading everyone onto the stick of number 14, Mitch Green. He makes no mistake on the breakaway, 2-0 Thunder. Still in the period, Bluebirds looking to respond. Puck eventually is centered out to number 11, Frederick Korp. He buries it behind Segrat, and it's 2-1 heading into the third period. Bluebirds getting the equalizer at the start of the third. It's Denomme blasting it high, blocker on Segrat. That one comes on the power play. This game is all tied up at 2. Later, off the face-off, Tilbury controlling. This time it's Travis Winkworth. His shot beats Segrat low glove side. Bluebirds with their first lead. It's 3-2. Back come the Thunder, however. Lots of pressure in the Tilbury zone, and it's Jordan Kobayashi finishing the play through the wickets of Polidori, and we're tied at 3. But with just under 5 minutes to play, it's the Tilbury captain once again taking the game on his shoulders, getting behind everyone. Perfect shot to give the Bluebirds the lead again. That's Denomme with his second. This time it's good for a 4-3 lead. Bluebirds would have an empty netter as they see their record improve to 2-0. The Tillsonburg Thunder falling 2-1-1. 5-3 is the final.
Okay, so yeah, guys, quick recap here as we look at the scoreboard from the weekend. Like I say, Tillsonburg winning 8-7 over the Strathroy Jets. That was our first game of the weekend. That took place at the new Gemini Sportsplex, the new home of the Strathroy Jets. This was a big game for the Tillsonburg Thunder. A high-scoring game, obviously, 57-40. The shots in favor of Strathroy. Jesse Raymond was a beast in the net. Faced a lot of pucks, but stopped just enough of them to give the Thunder the win. The Thunder scoring shorthanded. Brendan Barletta scoring with 28 seconds left in the third period to win it for Tillsonburg, giving them the victory. 1-0 for them, Strathroy 0-1. Next game on the docket was the Elora Rocks and Alvin Killer Bees, as mentioned earlier. Elora winning 5-2 there. Elora outshooting the Alvin Killer Bees 44-28. Big ups to Nolan Deckening, the goaltender of the Alvin Killer Bees. He was solid in the net. He only allowed 4. stopping 30, or excuse me, yeah, he only allowed 4, stopping 40 of 44. And the extra goal there, the empty netter that was scored by Zach Cameron with 11 seconds left in the third. The eventual game winner, though, goes to Ty Campbell. He scored at the just over the halfway mark of the third period. A great effort by him to score the game winner in that one, 3-2, to make it 3-2 at that point, and it would stand up as the winner. But he had a big game for the Elora Rocks. Yeah, kudos in this game. It was an excellent game to watch, and good effort by both teams. Alvinson, definitely showing that to putting the league on notice that they're for real this year and that they're going to be a team to be reckoned with in year number 2. Next game was Stratford at Delhi, or Stratford hosting the Delhi Flames. Stratford and Delhi were 3-2 after one period, and then it was all Stratford from there. I want to give a shout out to Nick Branderhorst. He had the Delhi Flames' first and second goal in WOSHL history. Also for the Delhi Flames, another shout out going to Chris Donnelly. His goal was an absolute beauty. And, again, he played a great game. Great game by Chris there. And, Delhi, unfortunately, we're just overwhelmed by Stratford in this one. Cooper Leach, big game by him. And also Brody Smith, who had a hat trick and 4 assists. Cooper Leach had a hat trick as well. Sean O'Brien getting the first goal for WOSHL or for the Irish this year, an absolute beauty. Coast to coast, went a long way to get it, but it was a beauty and finish by him. And great to see him back in the Irish net. Getting the win in the Irish net, speaking of, was Zach Weir, former Stratford Warriors, former London National, and it's great to see him in a Fighting Irish uniform. He gets the win for the Irish in that one. Excuse me. Our final game of the weekend, Tilbury Bluebirds and the Tilsonburg Thunder. Tilbury moving to 2-0, 5-3 victors. Big game from Dylan Denomme. He had a big game for the Tilbury Bluebirds. He registered 3 points in the game, and he's off to a great start this year. He had the eventual winner after Jordan Kobayashi tied it up in the third period with 13:50 to go. It was Denomme getting in behind everybody, like you saw in the highlight pack there, just under 5 to play, and he puts in the eventual winner. Just a great game by him. Another great game by Ryan Polidari, the goaltender for Tilbury. He now is 2-0 in 2 starts on the season, and he's off to a good start for the Tilbury Bluebirds, and that's our week 2 recap in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. So as you guys can see now by the standings, as we look at them now, Elora is up there in number 1. They are 2-0, tied with the Tilbury Bluebirds at 2-0. You have Stratford in the number 3 spot, 1-0. Tilsonburg 1-1 after a split weekend. Strathroy 0-1, Alvinston 0-1, Aaron Blitz at 0-1, and the Delhi Flames at 0-2. Placerville Lakers will open their season with 2 games this weekend. First of all, they are on the road, first of all, they are on the road this upcoming Friday. They are in, let me just double check here. Schedule, there we are. The Lakers are in Strathroy to play the Jets. That's on Friday, October the 14th at Gemini Sportsplex. And then they will open the Placerville Arena, the home opener for the Lakers on Sunday, October 16th, 3:30 in the afternoon against the Tilbury Bluebirds. So Placerville will get a couple games under their belts this upcoming weekend. They haven't played one to this point. As we switch over now, we look at our top 10 scorers. Again, you got to recognize the talent here because there is a lot of it. Mitch Green leads the way, 3-4 over 2 games this past weekend. Brody Smith right there and 7 points in 1 game. He was unbelievable. WOSHL first star this past weekend. Chad Heron has 5-1 for 6. Cooper Leach 3-2 for 5. Dylan Denomme 3-2 for 5. Mateo Condada, the Elora Rocks defender, 2-3 for 5. And Jamie MacQueen from the Tilsonburg Thunder, 2-3 in 5. He had 5 points in the game on Friday, 8-7 victors over the Strathroy Jets. Alex Utley, Ty Campbell, and Ray Robbins round out our top 10. And want to give a quick shout out here as we look at the goaltenders. Shout out to Ryan Polidari, as mentioned earlier, 2-0 to start the year for the Bluebirds. Anthony Marshall and Colin Dunn both picking up victories for the Rocks in 2 games. They split starts there. Jesse Raymond getting a victory, stopping 50 on Friday against the Strathroy Jets. And then you have Zach Weir, the Fighting Irish, getting a victory as well for the Stratford Fighting Irish over the Delhi Flames. So yeah, guys, got to recognize them, right? Of course. So that being said, guys, it was just an unbelievable weekend in the WOSHL this past weekend, 4 games overall, and a lot more to come this upcoming weekend. It is going to be insane. Lots of coverage going on all over the place in WOSHL, and let's get you teed up for that now. We're going to start, like I said earlier, Friday, October 14th, 7:30. Gemini Sportsplex is the place to be. It's the only game in town for WOSHL that night, and it's going to be the Strathroy Jets hosting the Plattsville Lakers. Plattsville making their WOSHL debut. We moved to Saturday, 4 games in total. We get it underway at 6:30. The Alvinston Killer Bees with their home opener at the BAICC complex against the Delhi Flames, the visiting Delhi Flames. That one goes at 6:30. Over in Tilbury, the Tilbury Arena, the Tilbury Bluebirds hosting the Stratford Fighting Irish. Bluebirds at 2-0, Stratford at 1-0. That'll be a great game between a couple of really skilled teams. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in that one. We have a very exciting rematch early on in the year. After an 8-7 Thunder win, scoring late, they rematch this time in Tillsonburg on Saturday at 7:30, Tillsonburg Community Center, Strathroy Jets and the Tillsonburg Thunder. And then one final game, and that goes at 8 o'clock. It's the Aaron Blitz and the Elora Rocks in a rematch of week 1 in this regular season at Center 2000, though this time, the home of the Aaron Blitz. It'll be their home opener as they play their second game in WOSHL history, looking to avenge that first game loss against the Elora Rocks on banner raising night in Elora. Our final game of the weekend comes on Sunday. We have our first Sunday game of the regular season. This one at 3:30 in the afternoon. Note the start time. Plattsville Arena, the place to be. It's the Lakers and the visiting Tilbury Bluebirds. That'll be a good game between a couple of real good teams there. And we'll get to see our first, like I say, glimpse of the Lakers when they travel to Strathroy on Friday to get the weekend kicked off. But yeah, it's going to be a great time, guys. You know, it's always a great time when it comes to the WOSHL. I also had a great time in Stratford with Brian Hawley calling the game on Sportify, Stratford Fighting Irish and the Delhi Flames. So cool to be back in the broadcasting booth and being able to call the game as you guys were watching. And we just had so much fun with it. And I look forward to trying to do a lot more games this year. And it's just great for me to be back doing these podcasts and being able to do those games. It's definitely a thrill, and it's just such a momentous occasion for me every time I get to do that. So just like any of the players that get to strap up their boots and put on a show for you guys and give it their all out there on that ice. Every time there's a WOSHL game, they're just giving it all. So it's great to see. And so far in short order, it's been a decent return so far. So far, so good. Like I say, guys, let's, without further ado, we want to jump right into the interviews. 3 of them today. Dylan Denomme of the Tilbury Bluebirds, Sam MacGee of the Alvinston Killer Bees, and we have Jamie MacQueen of the Tillsonburg Thunder. So without further ado, here we go with the interviews on this week's edition of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to be joined on this week's episode of the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast from the Tilbury Bluebirds. He is the captain and currently their leading scorer after a couple of a good showing against Tillsonburg on Saturday. We are pleased to be joined by Dylan Denomme. Dylan, it's great to have you on here, pal. Thanks a lot for stopping in and doing this for us, and welcome to the podcast.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
So big game, obviously, on Saturday. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But first, being named a captain of a franchise is a big deal. Being named captain of the Tilbury Bluebirds, a new team in this league, obviously another big deal. Take us through this process for you and what that's been like to this point.
We have a lot of guys. We have a great leadership core. We have a lot of guys that anybody could have really got to see. But no, it was this past summer. I was speaking to a couple of referees locally, and they were like, oh, you got to talk to Joe Bernie. He's trying to start the senior A, put a senior A team together for this new league. And I was just like, okay, like give him my number type of thing. I've ran leagues around here locally for junior university guys. So I know everybody that pretty much plays in this in the Essex County area. So I got in contact with Joe and he messaged me and I just told him I'm on board, whatever you need type of thing. So it pretty much just took off from there.
And like the first couple of skates, first couple of meetings with other guys, like what was your thoughts? Like, were you surprised? Like, did you know anybody? Like, what was the first initial reaction for you like?
Yeah, like I obviously helped out. I did a lot of recruiting. Got a lot of guys that I played with before, a lot of guys I know that are still playing, that I thought could either A, help out the team, or B, help the team win, right? Like you're not really trying to put a team together that you don't think can compete and win. But yeah, and then there was a couple of guys that I wasn't expecting to see that came out there and made a good impression. And yeah, it sort of took off from there. So it was nice to see those guys I haven't seen in a while.
Right. Yeah, of course. Familiarity is a big thing when it comes to team camaraderie and, success on and off the ice. Did you have any sort of familiarity with this league before you joined on, or was it just kind of like an all at once type deal?
I heard about it. Like I've seen it. I was actually kind of like, it's upsetting. Like we do have a great hockey community down here in Windsor, Essex County, and with Tilbury and the Chatham area. So it was it sucks not being able to have a senior A team, because there's a lot of guys that down here that are done playing and we never got to experience that. Like you get with the WSHL now being a league, or was a league before it came down to Tilbury, like guys got to continue playing, right, competitively, so the second I heard that it was a go, I was all in.
And through 2 games, what has your reaction been to, the kind of hockey that it is here? Like, were you surprised? Did anything stick out to you and say, whoa, I didn't expect that?
Well, game 1, obviously there's a lot of emotion. Played Delhi game 1. So it was a lot more physical than I was expecting. But then game 2, playing against Tilsonburg, I know they were missing a couple of their big guys, as we were, but I just thought that game had a lot of playoff feel to it. As far as close game, a lot of shots, goalies both played it phenomenal. It was just, that gave me a really nice playoff atmosphere feel to it against Tilsonburg.
And like, would it be fair to say that that's a measuring stick game for you guys? Would that be an accurate way of describing that?
Yeah, we were short staffed, as were they, like I said, but I don't know if I would classify it as a measuring stick yet. I'm kind of skeptical. I'm a kind of guy that likes to go I'd like to see you at your best and us at our best type of thing. Sure. You know what I mean? I like the best competition I can get. That's what I want, right? That's where I feel like your measuring stick's at, with 2 teams that are at their absolute top and have all their guys that are they're going to be their guys come playoff time and stuff like that. So that's where I would put the measuring stick. But I am proud of the boys and how we did play against a team that is still very good. They are a very good team with the guys who they were missing. But I'm still not sold on touting us as highly just yet. I'd like to. We will earn it, and I'm just, you know what I mean, just still prepared for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a 24-game season, a lot of hockey left to still be played, but you guys are off to a rocking start, and I've been very impressed with what I've seen. Take us through. So yeah, you guys fall down 2-0 against a good team over there in Tilsonburg, but there's no quit. I mean, you get the first one and then yours on the power play. Like, what a blast. Like, take us through that play.
Well, we weren't very happy with how our power play was before that. We had a power play to start the second period, I believe. And we just, nothing was clicking. We weren't working as hard as we should have. And then we just kind of said, boys, we got to be the hardest working guys in the ice here. Like, these guys aren't, their goalie's playing on really well. I know we're peppering them, but we got to bear down here. And I believe I was on the ice with Winkworth, Corp, Slava, our new Russian, and Geldart.
Yeah.
And those three, me and Geldart played the point on the power play there, and those three battled. It's kind of a loose puck. Winkworth started the battle. Corp hit Slava in the slot, and he made a nice move. And then I called for the puck kind of in that one-timer's position there on the far left side as a righty. And he fed it to me nice, and I just got it off quick and beat the goalie. It was just a good overall battle play, and good things came from it.
Yeah, it was a heck of a shot, and you just labeled it top corner. It was so nice to watch. I was able to watch that again and again. It was pretty nice. One of the nicest goals you'll see all year for sure. So Winkworth makes it 3-2 for you guys. They come back and score to tie it. It's late in the third period there, and you end up getting the eventual winner. Like, what was the mentality leading up to that play? Like, you able to get in on the breakaway and you make no mistake.
Well, I was kind of pissed before that because our line was on for that goal for them to tie it. And I wasn't happy about how us as a forward group played that shift, and we kind of hung the D and Polidori out to dry. So I was like, no, we're not, we got to get one back. We owe the team type of thing. So once I got the chance, I wasn't going to make a mistake there. I owed the boys. So.
Well, then that's just it. Does that speak kind of like to what you hope to bring to this team overall? Is like, I mean, obviously as a captain, you're expected to be a leader. You're expected to be a role model on and off the ice, the face essentially. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility. Is that something that you've kind of developed and bring as a strong asset to your game?
Yeah. I've been a captain of a lot of teams I've played on. I just feel like I pride myself on, if you're doing it, everybody else has got to be doing it, right? Or if everybody else is doing it, you better be doing it that much more type of thing. The boys count on you. You got to be the guy that's going to, you're going to put up points and stuff like that, but you got to do the other little things, right? You got to be blocking shots. If you're playing penalty kill, you got to be sacrificing. I just feel like that separates a good team leadership core from others. If those guys are willing to do that, then the team's going to follow, right? So it makes it that much easier. So I just pride myself on doing the little things and working hard every shift, and hopefully get rewarded for it, like I did in that game.
Yeah, I mean, hey, lead by example, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing you can do at the end of the day. I've been really impressed also, in the first couple of games there. I was speaking already with your goaltender, Ryan Polidori. Like, just a beauty. He's just a great individual, great person to talk to, and obviously a great talent on the ice, getting a shutout in the first one. And then I guess he did play really well against Tilsonburg. What's impressed you the most about watching him play?
I feel like he's just a lot more mature than his age he's on. He doesn't get down on himself. Like, after the game, I was like, buddy, you played phenomenal. And he was pissed that he let in those 3 goals. And it had nothing to do with him. One was a breakaway. The first goal was a snipe. It was a great shot. And it just tells you what kind of person and player he is, that he was mad. He was still upset that he let in those 3 goals. And that those are the kind of guys you want, right? The guys that they're never satisfied. And that just goes to tell you the kind of person and the type of character guy he is, and why I feel like he'll play at the next level, and he'll work his way up to whether it's university hockey or play professional one day. I definitely see that.
Yeah, like I say, I think, the sky's the limit for him, especially in this league, because he's only going to get better as the games wear on. One of my good buddies on this podcast that I've spoken to many, 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 many times, he's the biggest pest that you'll ever see, and that's Tyler Ryan. I can't have a podcast without talking about him because he'll kill me if I don't. But he's one of those guys that, you love to have him on your team, but you hate to play against just because he's in your face a lot. But the thing that he does bring is a wealth of knowledge of a lot of this league and this style. Like, did you lean on him at all? Like, if you had conversation with him, did he help?
Yeah, like, we have a team. We put together a team group chat, and he was one of the first guys that kind of gave his insights on each team, what guys have gotten, what guys they've gotten, new guys, stuff like that. And yeah, it's been really helpful with knowing, because you don't know anything, right? You come in blind unless it's the guys that I've played against back in junior or in university or even pro. You don't really know what to expect. So it is nice having a guy that is very familiar with the league, and he's definitely helped out within the group chat and letting the boys know type of thing.
Yeah, like I just feel like that can be a huge advantage when it comes to a new team, just having all the information and intel that you can have, good or bad, either or. It's just always helpful to have. So let's just talk about your upbringing here, because again, we were talking before we started here. You had a lot of impressive years as a junior, both at the junior level and then the college and level as well, university level. Your time in LaSalle, like you put up totals of 76 and 72 points in your last 2 years there. What was the takeaway from you, and what was a favorite moment, if you can recall one, from your time with the Vipers?
I think probably favorite moment would be when I was 16 and we won the Sutherland Cup that year. I wasn't on the team the full year, but I played throughout the whole playoffs and throughout the whole Sutherland Cup playoffs. And just that moment, like seeing the older guys and just seeing like what a championship team is, like what it feels like to be on a championship team, and just how hard it is to get there. And it doesn't matter how highly ranked you are, how highly touted you are. If you have that right team, that right membrane, and everybody comes together, you have that camaraderie. You can have a championship team, right? You don't have to be the best. It just, if you guys are going come playoff time, anything can happen, right? And I think that for me, especially being so young as a 16-year-old, it helped me a lot, developed me a lot, especially with those older guys coming in my further years there. Like it developed me a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And then eventually you become one as well. And then obviously, your transition to the University of Windsor, what was that like for you? Did you have like a pretty easy adjustment? Was there difficulties? And, how was that experience for you there? Because again, big numbers.
Honestly, the adjustment, I worked hard to get where I was in the university. Obviously previously it had been like, a lot of ex-OHL guys, and those are the guys they kind of thrive and they count on in CIS hockey and Equal U Sports now. But going from LaSalle to University of Windsor, there's a lot of my ex-teammates from LaSalle there.
Okay.
And one particular, Drew Palmer, who is the captain of the team and who ended up being my line mate like the full year. So he was a vet on the team, and a couple of guys didn't come back. So it really opened the door for me to kind of jump in that top six, that first power play unit, that role right away, and having a guy like him and Matt Bodwin and Spencer Pommels and those guys that were there, Ryan Green, those type players like that I had that were their older vets really helped me a lot. And with it being such a veteran team, it was very easy. I'm a yes kind of guy, and wherever the coach tells me I need to go, that's what I'm going to do, and whatever to help the team. And it was kind of like one of those roles to step in there, and I just did what they said and worked hard, and it really worked out for me my first year.
That's amazing. That's great, dude. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And I guess, I know it's a small sample size because, you guys have only played 2 games, and you've obviously played hockey at a lot of different levels. So you've kind of understood how different levels work and the speed and all that sort of stuff. Like, have you noticed a big adjustment from what you're used to? Is there anything different in this league that you've noticed in the short 2-game span?
No, nothing crazy. I think it has been a little bit of adjustment for some guys. But then again, there's a learning curve, right? Those first 10 games those first 5 to 10 games of the season, it's going to be a learning curve for some guys. And that's where you really kind of have to dig in, and you just, if you are struggling, you just take a step back. And it's one of those situations where, okay, what am I doing wrong, or what am I doing right? What is working? What's not working? It's just those first 5 to 10 games, they're always going to be a learning curve for some guys. But then again, that's why you have guys like myself, like Austin Broussard, guys that have played, like Mitch Van Teeling, Ryan Cravat, and we have guys like that, Winkworth, another one of our captains, like older guys like that can help guys that are like, hey, constructive criticism, stuff like that. We're all grown men, right? So it's not like junior being a kid. getting upset because your teammate told you something you didn't like, right? We're all grown men. You can approach any situation. Like, I can talk to you as a man, which is, I think that's one of the biggest things I can take from this league is everybody's a grown man, and you can talk to a person and you can give that constructive criticism, and people don't take it to heart. They just realize you're trying to help them out, which is one of the biggest things.
Absolutely. Well said. That's a great attitude. And you know what? It's guys like you with that kind of attitude that are great for this league. So I can really appreciate that. I thank you for that. You guys have a big weekend coming up here. On Saturday, you guys host the Stratford Fighting Irish at the Tilbury Arena. That's at 7:30 on Saturday, October the 15th. Good matchup there. They're just coming off a 6-3 win over Delhi. They're going to be no slouch having watched them in person. That's going to be a great matchup for you. Then on Sunday, you're in Plattsville, I believe, to play the Plattsville Lakers in their first game of the WOSHL franchise. So big weekend for you guys. What are your hopes from this weekend?
Saturday, I'm hoping the boys can pull it off. For me, I'm not going to be at the game Saturday. But no, it's just the same. We have the same attitude going in. Don't take a shift off. You don't know. We don't know any team, right? And they just put up 7 against Tilsonburg with a full lineup. Tilsonburg just had a full lineup. So we didn't get Tilsonburg at their best, and they didn't get us at our best. So we just look at it as it's another game. You got to take it shift by shift type of thing. Don't get down if we get scored on. And it's just like any other game, right? We work hard, we're get rewarded. If we don't, good things aren't going to happen, right? So we're just taking every game essentially shift by shift, period by period. And that's a mentality we have to have, right? Being a new team, we haven't seen anybody before. So that's how we got to look at this weekend. And we're hoping to take 4 points and get 2 wins.
Yeah, like I say, you guys are off to a rocking start, and it's very impressive. Other teams in the league definitely taking notice of you guys, and definitely worried when you guys come to town. That's for sure. Dylan, my last question that I want to ask, and I usually like to ask this kind of question because it really does kind of hit home to the individual. Like you've been playing hockey most of your life, if not all. Like, what is it that keeps you coming back? What is it about this game that you love so much? If there was one thing that you could pick out,
I think it's the battle.
That's a good answer.
You're not going to get that. Like, people say like, oh yeah, beer leagues are just as fun. It's not. It's the battle and going into competition with your buddies and those guys that are on your team, knowing that they're gonna give their heart for you as an individual, as a teammate. Nothing's ever the same as just going into battle with your buddies and getting that competition. You know what I mean? It's unexplainable. And it brings me back. It'll always bring me back every year. I love it. I love the game way too much. And that just makes it that much better.
Well, that's awesome, man. I love the answers that people give to that kind of question, because it's always varies. But it usually hits back home to that. We've been speaking with Dylan Denomme of the Tilbury Bluebirds, the captain, number 96. His Tilbury Bluebirds are 2-0 to start the year. They are next in action on Saturday, October the 15th, 7:30 at the Tilbury Arena against the visiting Stratford Fighting Irish. Dylan, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll catch up throughout the course of the season, I'm sure. And like I said, best of luck and thanks for doing this.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, back here on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. This is episode number 4. We are very pleased to be joined with our guest at this time. He is from the Alvin Killer Bees, assistant captain Samuel MacGee. Sam, it's great to have you on here, pal. Thanks for hopping on and doing this, and welcome to the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, like you guys, Alvinston over there, you're into year number 2 now, and expectations, I think it's fair to say, are high for you guys as growth from year 1 to year 2. For a guy now that's entering, who was here for year 1 and now in year 2. Did you find the prep any different from year 1 to year 2?
The prep I wouldn't say prep, but our expectations for all the returning guys have definitely is a lot higher. Well, everyone saw our record last year, so they can kind of see how much we've improved or going to improve this year for sure. Um, I mean, for myself, I just simple hockey, right? I don't want to do too much. Same with like other guys coming back. New talent looking pretty promising for us for sure. Other than that, I think we take one game at a time and keep on going.
And yeah, like obviously coming back for you, like how does that feel? And then obviously, you're part of the leadership group alongside Scott Case, the captain. Like, is that like what does that mean to you when it's you who's chosen to be a part of this leadership group? And what do you take upon yourself in that role?
It's pretty cool actually. I've never really been an assistant captain on any team actually, so when the staff came to me and say, "Hey, we want to give you a letter," I was pretty stoked about it. Um, I just like to keep things light in the room. Mistakes happen, so I like to get guys going pumped up. So there's another play to happen. So I don't like the negativity. I always say negativity only breeds negativity.
Mhm.
But I know some guys are competitors and they get down on themselves and just try to keep it light, keep moving forward, and try to be successful out there.
Yeah. So, and then I think, if you guys look at your first game, would you dub it as a success? Like, I mean, granted the 5-2 score isn't the way you'd hoped, but when you look at that game as a whole against the defending champs, like what was your takeaway?
I think that's definitely a victory for us for sure. Considering last year we're going into Allura, we had that back to back Friday, Saturday. I mean, everyone can look up the stats.
Yeah, we don't need,
Yeah. I think this year, like though that we did lose 5-2 empty net, I think that was a huge victory. We kept them scoreless in the second period. We battled hard. I think a couple bounces either way, we could have been winners. We could have lost a lot more too. So I think it was pretty humbling for them and a good positive aspect for us too.
Yeah, like does that give you a lot of confidence as to what your team can accomplish this year? I mean, even just like those first initial skates and the kind of guys that they were signing, like did that give you, some optimism that this year, yeah, you're going to turn things around?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a couple of the guys that we signed, like I wasn't too sure of. Like I've heard like, oh, I'll play junior B, and when I saw them on the ice and they came out to play, I was like, a good step forward, especially coming from last year to this year too. So I mean, it was a good stepping stone. And I mean, even like Brett Case, like he's doing a great job, and especially going from last year to this year, like we've learned a lot. So
Yeah, I mean, like, and there's something to be said about coming in, again, a new team last year, and a lot of you guys, kind of thrown together, if you will. I mean, some teams were coming in established already, as opposed to your team, which was, a bunch of pieces thrown together. And then
100%.
you have this year where there's 4 expansion teams coming in. That creates a level of excitement, and they're going through the same things you guys were going through. Like,
Yeah.
there has to be something said about that.
Oh, for sure. Especially I know like last year, like I was out of competitive hockey so I was like when I was like 21 coming in last year. It was definitely a little bit of a culture shock, but
Right.
got my feet moving. And I think that now that we have this young talent coming into our team, I think we're here to compete. And then we're not going to be a laughing stock of the league anymore. So
Were you like, are you familiar with a lot of the other guys in this league, or some of the guys you go up against on a nightly basis in this league? Like, do you have a lot of familiarity, Sam?
yeah, I know Josh Diamond pretty well.
Okay, Strathroy, yeah,
Yeah,
goaltender.
a couple of guys from the Jets. I mean, like I really just come and play. Like, yeah, some are my friends, but I mean, you're on the other team with different jerseys, so
Right,
really, I don't really care about you guys to that point. So,
right.
um, other than that, I mean, we have some good talks on during the whistles, but when the puck drops, it's game on for sure.
I like that. I like that answer. I like that answer a lot. And yeah, so so this upcoming Saturday, you guys play your home opener at the Brooke Alvinston Inwood Community Complex against the visiting Delhi Flames. You know, like, are you excited about that? I know you guys got some things planned. What can we expect in your home opener this Saturday at 6:30?
I mean, I think we're in good position to win for sure. I mean, we can't take them lightly. I know if you look at the stats from last game when Stratford played them, I mean, I feel we were in that position. So,
Right.
I mean, they have nothing to lose. So I feel like they're going to come out hard hitting, and definitely they need to prove something too, especially being new to this league. But I mean, if we just play our game, we want to be as annoying as possible, finish every check we have. I know last year, like, even though we didn't win many games by any means, we were definitely tough to play against because we would hit anything that moved.
Right.
So I think if we just keep in our game and keep composed out there and not take stupid penalties and definitely complete a second period like we did against Delora, we should be quite successful, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to that game. Honestly, I think it's going to be a good contest. I think it's a good measuring stick to figure out where both teams are at, in my opinion, to be honest. So, like, the thing that I loved about what you guys did, and you went out and you got a goaltender, Nolan Deckening. Like, you know, this guy, he's got a proven record, you know, from his junior days, and he comes in and he acts like he makes a huge statement in the first game. How impressive was he to you from your vantage point?
Oh, I think that's the first time I've seen him play, like, and in an actual game, and stood on his head a couple of times. And he, I mean, you need a good goal to go far, right? So I think he is definitely a good piece to our team, and he seems like a good step in the future for our success. Stellar guy too, off the ice and on the ice. Typical goalie. So
Right. No, absolutely. I just again, from what I saw, what I watched, you know, it looked like he was in the zone. He had a great game. The one, I think he allows the fourth goal, the one that makes it a 2-goal game at that point, the one that kind of squeaks by him. I bet you anything he wishes he had that one back. But it's a tough team over there, and I obviously thought he played really well. Another guy I was really impressed with was Cameron Rombouts. His goal that he scored when he was coming down the wing there, after Case found him from beside the net on the coming down the wing. He picks the top corner on the blocker side. Just a beautiful shot. Like, how impressive are you by his play?
I mean, that was fantastic. I think he had his eyes closed, but I mean, I mean, a goal's a goal at that point. But
right,
he impressed me. He's a good guy too. He's actually a good locker room guy. He keeps the room light and jokes around a lot, which, I mean, we need that guy kind of stuff in the room. And I think he's going to be a good, definitely a good piece this year too. Especially everyone got their feet wet last year, and now they're ready to go for a swim now.
And then, last guy I want to ask you about is the captain, Scott Case. He's just such he's a perfect guy for your team in terms of the face. You know, a natural leader. Last year's Movember campaign, that was outstanding of him to do that. What does he mean to this team from your perspective? And like, have you leaned on him maybe a little bit for knowledge and information and that sort of thing?
Yeah, good guy, like you said, like, great. He's a great face of Alvinston for sure. He's one of those guys that you can come to, you can ask, hey, like, pull him aside, say, hey, Scott, I need some help, or it doesn't have to be hockey related. Just a good guy, down to earth. He's the heart. Like, he comes into the lineup and he throws the body, drops the gloves. He'll do anything for the team. So, I mean, with that being said, like, hell of a guy, definitely off the ice too. With that Movember campaign, definitely good community guy too. And I think he's gonna be a good captain for us for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm just really impressed by him. And anytime I talk to him, he's just a real stand-up guy and just an excellent, like, a pleasure to talk to. Now, in terms of, so you said you spent some time apart away from the game of competitive hockey. You played junior with Mount Bridges Bulldogs, correct?
Yeah, and then I finished my last year in Alvinston as well.
Oh yeah, for the Flyers, right?
Yep.
Perfect. From that, like, do you have any fond memories from your time with the Bulldogs or even the Flyers?
Yeah, I mean, like, I love junior hockey. It was fun. good competitiveness. I like to, like I said, like, and when I play hockey, I like to throw the body a bit, get under people's skin. Just be simple hockey player. I don't have the greatest hands out there, that's for sure. I pass first is my motto.
Fair.
Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed myself, especially going to Elvinston. I mean, met some new faces, especially going from Bridges Loop to Elvinston Loop, playing
Right.
like Essex and Blenheim.
Mhm.
Definitely an eye opener for sure. Um, I think yeah, junior hockey. I think anyone has fun in junior hockey. So
Fair enough. And then, like, what was the reason why there was a lot of time off there? Like, was it just like, were you doing other things? Were other ventures?
I'm a lacrosse guy, so I was
Okay,
playing lacrosse. So
I
I was
got you.
playing. Yeah, that was my gig for a bit, and then I well, I'm good friends with Avery Antone. So
Yeah, good guy.
yeah, great guy. So I played beer league with him, and I said, I'm like, hey, I heard you guys need a defenseman. So he's like, I'll ask the coach, and came out, and rest was history. So yeah, I thank him for me being a B. So
Well, that's awesome, man. We're happy you're a B as well. And the last question I got for you, like, what is your expectation for the Bees this season? Like, what are you hoping to get out of it? Where are you hoping to land? Like, what are you hoping to see from the Bees this year?
I'm not too much with like the wins or loss. I want our team to get better every game. And from that being said, I want us to all have fun, not get down on each other. I know last year was pretty tough for some of the guys, but we all came to the rink with a good attitude, and I just want to get better. Like I said, every game. If we win, that's awesome. That's the whole point of playing hockey, especially for a league like this. But I don't like to look too far in the future. I want to take one step at a time for sure.
Well, you're going to get to take that next step this upcoming Saturday at the Brook Alvinston Inwood Community
A
Complex.
bit of a mouthful, eh?
Yeah, it is. It's a BIACC complex
BI.
in Alvinston. Alvinston Killer Bees home opener against the Delhi Flames, 6:30 on Saturday, October the 15th. Sam, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll catch up with you throughout the season, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, continuing here on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. Pleased to be joined by my third guest of the episode, saving the best for last. One of the most experienced players, I think, one of the oldest players. No offense there, Jamie. To Tillsonburg Thunder player Jamie MacQueen joins us now on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. Jamie, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for doing this and welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, isn't that funny? I mean, I don't mean to criticize because hey, I'm 35. I'm older than you, but I'm just saying, like, it's funny. This league is more driven to younger guys, but older fellas can still succeed as you put up in the first game. This league is very interesting. For you've come over. Like, what is how has it been for you, and what's this process been like?
Yeah, it's been fun. To be honest, I didn't know much about it. I skated a couple of times with Tillsonburg many, many, many years ago, only because I had friends on the team and I was getting ready for camps myself.
Right.
And I met Bill then. So I've known him ever since then. And I believe they were in the other loop at that point in time.
Yep, they would have been.
And, the only thing that I knew about this new league was honestly just from friends on the team. I got a number of friends that played there and have played there, and they kind of filled me in on what was going on. And that's kind of just how it led me to Tillsonburg, to be honest with you. I honestly didn't really know too much.
It's kind of funny. It almost seems like it's come full circle for you in a way. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, like I said, I used to skate a little bit when I was getting ready for camps myself, prior to going over to Germany with Tillsonburg. Like I said, that's when I met Bill. So it's kind of cool just to see it come around, and here I am playing for him.
And obviously, like, from the first few skates this time around, like, were you surprised? Was there a little bit of an adjustment to make? I'd imagine there would have been.
Yeah, a little bit, but I just went in with no expectations, really. I like I said, I didn't know too much about it. I know I have friends on the team that I've grown up with and played hockey with, but I didn't know very many that were returning from last year, as we had a lot of guys apparently that were on the team last year that returned. So I just went in with no expectations, looking to just continue playing hockey at a competitive level. I retired to move back home and be with my family full time and keep the competitive itch there and play some hockey and play some fun hockey with some friends.
Yeah, and that has to be a huge part of any team's success or any player individually's success, is having that camaraderie and familiarity. Like, who is it that you know on the Tillsonburg team that kind of was like, oh, well, this is a no-brainer for me, this is a perfect fit?
Yeah, well, I grew up with Chris McGuffin. He's been my best friend ever since we were little kids.
Okay.
And we've just, like I said, we've been best friends forever. So he's been there for a long time. And same with Mike Finley. We've been friends for a long, long time. And I grew up with the Barlettas. Right. Jeff being my age, I played with Brendan's brother Jeff, but I've known Brendan for many, many years and played hockey with him. And those three guys. Scotty Stafford's another one that was there last year. Yeah, awesome. He's one of my oldest friends and one of my best friends. He's just a great guy, and talking to these guys and wanting to play with these guys, and they got nothing but great things to say about Tillsonburg. So it was kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It just sounds like such a perfect fit. And you speak about Stafford. Stafford's unbelievable. He's great. He's a good buddy of mine. I've had him on a podcast before. It's just great picking his brain. And like, not only, it's so funny with him because like he's such a professional. Like he's a beauty on the outside, like the outside of the, like off the ice, because of his career. He's just an unbelievable worker off the ice. And then on the ice, again, with him being, with him having the issue with his hand. I don't know I want to word that correctly, but the fact that he's able to do what he does is so impressive and just so inspiring, really.
Oh, it's amazing. Everything that he's ever done since I ever known him has blown me away. And to him, it's life, right? Like to him, he doesn't find it incredible or special or whatever, because he's such a humble guy, and he just blows everybody away, myself included, with everything that he does, whether we're playing hockey or on the golf course or just anything in general. And he's so smart. He's, like you said, he's so professional, and he's such an outgoing guy. And he's so personal. He's so good. He's just an amazing person that I'm so glad that I have in my life, and that I can watch and just be inspired by everything that he does.
Well, that's awesome, man. I can appreciate how you speak highly about him. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, your guys' first game of the year, you go into the new arena for Strathroy, the Gemini Sportsplex, and you come out with a huge win to start the year, an 8-7 win. Barletta scores with very little time left in the third period to win it. Your takeaways from the first game?
Oh, it was good to get our feet wet. It was obviously good to get a win. I think that there's a lot of things that as a team we need to get better at going forward. I don't think those 8-7 games should probably happen every weekend. It's great to see the offense because that's always fun, but defensively, got to tighten that up, give our goalie a little help. We were kind of leaving him out to dry in front of the net, and Strathroy's got a good team. I mean, I know a couple of guys in that team, and they can put the puck in the back of the net. And they also didn't have some of their best guys in the lineup. Two of my really good buddies. So they'll be a good team all year. So tighten things up, and it'll be another good game on Saturday. I think maybe it might not be so high scoring. We're not sure. We would like to keep scoring as many as we did, but definitely limit their scoring chances.
Yeah, that's right. Because you guys are next in action this upcoming Saturday. I believe you're playing at home this time against Strathroy, visiting Strathroy just in a rematch. So that'll be a good one for sure. That's the thing. One guy I really impressed on your team is Jesse Raymond, the goaltender, played on Friday there. I mean, anytime you face that many shots, it's kind of hard to gauge how successful your night was. I mean, yeah, he comes away with the W, but I know last year he battled some knee issues, and this year he looks to bounce back very, very well. It seems like you guys have a good goalie tandem though too, between Jesse and Matt Segrat. So I think that's a great combination there. Yeah. So, like, I mean, again, for a guy who's been around hockey as long as you have, how important do you define a season on your goaltending tandem?
Yeah, I mean, having a good goaltending tandem's, if you just hit it on the head, is number one, right? You want a guy back there that you can rely on and that you're going to battle for every night, and you don't want to leave him out to dry like we did. So even knowing it says he got 7 scored against him, well, he probably had a few tap-ins back door that we could get rid of, and open shots in the slot that like that tying goal there. Give credit to the guy with a good shot, but you don't ever really want to give a grade A scoring chance in the slot like that. So
sure,
can't fault Razor for that at all. He's been great ever since I didn't know him coming in, and the few times that we've got to skate together, he's a really good goalie in practice. And I heard really good things about him coming in, about how he's kind of the backbone of the team. And he battled that knee injury last year, but I talked to him a little bit to get to know him, and he says he's feeling really good. So that's good to hear.
Well, and it's kind of an interesting thing with this league too, is that you add that personal element outside of the league, right? I mean, everybody's got jobs, kids, life, careers that they have to go to after the game is over. So to go through an injury like that, I mean, how careful do you need to be out there? Like, obviously guys are respectful, you hope, because they have to go to their everyday life after the game is over.
Yeah. And injuries happen. Freak injuries. I'm not too sure how he got hurt, but injuries happen. But no, definitely guys aren't going out there, and I wouldn't hope anybody would be going out there to purposely injure somebody or purposely hurt anybody. You know what I mean? Because like you said, at the end of the day, we're all playing hockey at a competitive level to keep the dream alive and have some fun while we're doing it. And we all got to go to work the next day. It's
exactly.
It's something that I'm not used to, because hockey was my job, and I've turned a page on that, retired, and started my own career outside of hockey. So yeah, I got to wake up and go to work just like everybody else now.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're just hurting or a little sore, I mean, that's okay, but you don't want to you don't want to break or anything and risk, losing that income, because it's so important with today's financial markets. But
exactly.
Like I say, it's just great to see Jesse back and going strong, because he is such a good dude. And, you don't want to see anybody lose any work or any time or money or anything like that.
Absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit about your experience overseas, because like you spent a lot of time in Germany and put up some wicked numbers. And if you could talk about that a little bit, and then maybe if you could dive, I guess, into the comparison. I know you've only played the one game so far, and it's a short sample, but maybe the comparison there, if there is one.
Yeah, I spent a long time overseas. 8 years, I think. Yeah, went over there with no expectations. I was playing in North America, bouncing around between the American League and the East Coast League, and I had a lot of buddies that went to Europe and just loved it and praised going to Europe. And I was married at the time and talked about it with my wife, and said, hey, this is kind of like a good opportunity for us to get some experiences and travel the world and see places that maybe we'll never see if hockey didn't take me there, right? So I jumped ship and we went to Germany on a recommendation from actually a Strathroy native himself. He was playing in Germany at the time, and he made the recommendation, and I got over there and bounced around a little bit. I started in the second league in Germany, and my goal was to play in the top league, and had a good year and went up to the top league and spent 5 years there with a couple of teams. And the hockey is just unbelievable over there. It's bigger ice, so I found a home for me. I enjoy moving over to the bigger ice and more time and space, and was able to control the puck a little more and just use my skill and my speed and my shot to put, I guess, like you said, to put up the numbers that I did. And I was fortunate to play with good players and have good success. For me personally, won a championship over there, which I'll never forget. That's probably one of the best years of my life, and made some friendships that will last a lifetime, from all over the planet, like German guys, Swiss guys, Finnish guys, Canadian, American, like just, it was just a great experience. I can't talk about it badly in any way, to be honest. I had all three of my kids over there in Germany too.
Okay.
We thought, we didn't know we were going to stay in Germany for 8 years, but we just kind of fell in love with the country, and we fell in love with the cities that we were playing in, and we stayed and we built our family and had all three of our kids were born in Germany, which is super cool experience, not only for us, but it'll be really cool for them to look back on. I know my son, he just turned 7. He already talks about it with his friends in school, being like,
that's so wild.
Oh, I lived in Germany till I was 7 and I was born there. And it's like, he loved it. He loved the games. And the hockey, it's amazing hockey. It's, the fans are crazy. If you can think of, how soccer fans are, they're wild. They got fires going. They got megaphones, flags. Well, they do that right in the rink.
That's so cool.
They are some of the best fans that I've ever played in front of. And they're so passionate about it, which is crazy to think, because everybody associates Europe with soccer, right?
Yeah.
So no, they love their hockey, and they bring that enthusiasm right to the rink, and it literally sends chills down your spine every time, every game. And I played there for 8 years, and it never changed.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to Bill Ryan and get him to try and up the atmosphere in the Tillsonburg Arena for you, to make you feel comfortable if you're in the lineup that night.
Yeah, no,
they'll love that.
Good. Yeah.
No, hey, Bill and I are tight, man. I got you.
All right.
So I guess, this is obviously a big experience for you, and as a family man, that's obviously got to be pretty cool, having your kids come out to Tillsonburg to watch games and that sort of thing. Do you have any as a man of little expectation from what it sounds like when it comes to hockey, like what are you expecting from the Thunder this year? What are your hopes?
Yeah, honestly, every time I go into a season, the only expectation I've ever had is just to bring home a championship. Like, that's been number one for me. Every year that I go in, I don't really have too high of expectations to score 100 goals or anything crazy like that. But I know other people have expectations of me, which is great. I love the pressure, and I've had that my whole career, and I was always relied on as an offensive guy to put the puck in the back of the net. But going into a season, I try not to really focus on that, because I think that just makes you nervous and makes you grip your stick around the net and stuff like that. And that could really go south quickly.
Yeah.
So really my only expectations going into every year, and it's really no different this year, is just team success. And that ultimately is just a championship at the end of the year, right?
Absolutely.
So, number one, you just want to make the playoffs, and you want to make the playoffs in the top seed or the highest seed that you can for home ice, and then the championship follows that.
Absolutely. No, I mean, and you know what? The Thunder were right there last year pushing Allura in the finals, and I think there's definitely a good shot that you guys return to the finals. This upcoming Saturday, Tillsonburg Thunder at home against the Strathroy Jets on Saturday, October the 15th, 7:30 is the time of that one. We've been speaking with Jamie MacQueen of the Tillsonburg Thunder. Jamie, it's been a pleasure, dude. We really appreciate you coming on and doing this. Best of luck this season. Best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll make sure to catch up again soon. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Anytime you want to chat, I'm open.
All right, guys. Back here on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Rogers. This whole podcast, of course, presented by Sleeman Breweries. We thank them for being the podcast host, or podcast sponsor, I should say. But yeah, quickly to wrap up this edition of the podcast. First of all, I want to thank Dylan, Sam, and Jamie for being the guests on the podcast this week, and give you guys a reminder of what's coming up this upcoming weekend. It's the Placerville Lakers into Strathroy to play the Jets this upcoming Friday, 7:30 is start time at the Gemini Sportsplex. And then on Saturday, it gets underway at 6:30 at the BAICC complex, the Alvinson Killer Bees and the Delhi Flames, 6:30 start. Stratford Fighting Irish on the road in Tilbury at 7:30 to face the Tilbury Bluebirds. It's the Strathroy Jets into Tilsonburg to face the Thunder. That one also gets underway at 7:30 at the Tilsonburg Community Center. See Laura Rocks and the Aaron Blitz. That one goes at 8 o'clock. Center 2000 in Aaron on Saturday to wrap the 4-game day on Saturday. And then the weekend wraps Tilbury Bluebirds and the Plattsville Lakers at the Plattsville Arena. Note the start time there, 3:30. So yeah, guys, jam-packed, lots of WOSHL action. Make sure to tune in on Spotify and go to the website, www.woshl.com, and follow the links to watch live the best hockey in Ontario, the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. Guys, my name is Andrew Rogers. I'm the host of the podcast. It's been great bringing you another one of these, and hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back with you guys for another episode next week. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon. Bye.